Excellent. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for joining us. Alice and Jacob are going to let people in as they come along, but welcome to The Future is Human. So yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us today. I know that some people might be joining a little later due to the time zones, but yeah, we welcome you all. I'm Nina, I'm from Champions for Social Change, and I've coordinated these two workshops with Professor Alison Liebling from Cambridge University and Jacob Dunn, who's one of the co-founders of the Common Ground Justice Project. If you could pop yourselves on mute as you come in, that would be wonderful. Welcome, everybody. Just a reminder, we're recording today's session and it's going to be shared on our YouTube channel, but we'll share more details about that later. And just to get us started, I'm sharing two photographs here. One is a very recent photograph with all the yellow daffodils. That's you could pop yourselves on mute when you come on, that would be great. Thank you. So one of the photographs with the beautiful yellow daffodil flowers is outside the university that I'm at the moment. So I'm studying for a PhD in prison impacted leaders and social movements. And so, yeah, the beautiful sort of daffodils. And then the other picture is where I'm going to be next week, joining Penal Reform International at their event that they've got in Amsterdam. So I'm going to go and see the beautiful tulip fields that they have out there at the moment. And the tulip bulb is something that reminds me of a moment of humanness in my work. About 10 years ago, I was part of the European Prison Education Association, which I know a couple of people on this call have been involved with as well. And when I was on the committee, the chair was from the Netherlands. And as a gift at one of our meetings, she gave us all a tulip bulb and told us that planting tulip bulbs and nourishing them and watering them and seeing them blossom was the same as the impact of education and learning in prison and seeing learners in prison blossom. So I plant my tulip bulb on my balcony every year and it grows beautifully. So hopefully for us, for this session today, thinking about our human criminal justice system, it's going to be nourishing. It's going to, have nourish our ideas, our imaginations, and hopefully our ideas about a human criminal justice system will blossom as a result of today. So I thought we could just introduce ourselves just in the chat. So if you could pop in the chat your name, the organisation that you're related to, where you're joining us from today. We've got people from, I think, most of the continents around the world today. And just what's blossoming in your work or your life right now? What have you been nourishing? What's blossoming, whether that's in your work or your personal life? So just going to, if you could pop that in the chat just to introduce ourselves. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and perhaps I should model that, Nina.
Go for it, Jacob.
I'm Jacob Dunn, co-founder of the Common Ground Justice Project, and I've been supporting Nina in the creation of these global workshops. Okay. It's fantastic to be with you all. I would say that we're all planting seeds, sowing seeds, should I say, and we're all watering them in our own regions. And this is a place to come to talk about that, learn from each other's practice, and imagine a more human justice system moving forward that's fully nurtured and has all the ingredients it needs to thrive. At the Common Ground Justice Project, we are finding a new way forward. We're reaching out and listening to lots of different stakeholders and political organizations where there are many divides around what way forward, how we find a new way forward on justice that can bring everybody on that journey across political divides. And that's our mission, is to find common ground across political divides, to find a new way forward. So it's a pleasure to be here doing just that with you guys.
Excellent.
I'll just add my hellos and welcomes too. Really delighted to be here, seeing lots of names I know and a few that I don't, and really excited about getting to know people better and having this conversation. So welcome to everyone.
Excellent. Lovely. So I can just looking at the chat. We've got from Romania, we've got from the US, Brazil, Amsterdam, UK, Netherlands, from Ayana from Czechia. We've got Lena from the UK, we've got Colorado, Kent, Vienna, Austria. Oh, if you could pop your yourselves on mute, that would be great. Thank you. So yeah, thank you everybody for doing that. Excellent. So we want to create a safe space within this workshop today, and hope that you leave the workshop feeling informed, inspired, and able to imagine a more human justice system. So to do that, I just want to invite us all to be aware of the different lived, learned, and professional expertise and experience that we're all going to bring today, to respect the fact that we're all from different contexts, we might have different approaches to our work, to remember that many on this call will have English not as a first language, so I need to remember to speak a bit slower than I normally do. To approach our discussions today with an open mind, an open heart, to listen to each other, our different opinions, our different ideas and perspectives, to be present as much as possible. I know this is quite a long session and some of you may have to, do things in between it, but just to try and be present as much as possible, and to contribute and engage in the conversations with warmth and compassion, to try to avoid labelling and stigmatizing language, and finally to be human and to look after ourselves and each other. Some of the topics we might discuss might be personal or sensitive, so just to look after yourselves and look after each other. And there are going to be several opportunities throughout the workshop where we will work in small groups. You'll get to meet each other, talk, and hopefully, because there's so much expertise on this call, so everyone here, we've got some amazing panel speakers, but everyone on this call has lots of expertise and experience to bring. So hopefully over the course of this, you'll get to meet a few different people. So I'm going to start off just with thinking about what the difference is between a human and humane criminal justice system. So I'm going to start with humane. So because we've got Alison on the call from University of Cambridge, I've gone to the Cambridge Dictionary to get the definition of humane, which says showing kindness, care and sympathy towards others, especially those who are suffering. So we know from reports by Penal Reform International and other organisations about the conditions of our prisons and justice systems are often described as inhumane, so causing suffering and cruelty. And so it's really important to think about how we make our system more humane. Last year, Jacob worked with the Koestler Trust, which is an arts organisation in the UK, to ask people that were currently in prison to write a poem about when they felt most human when they were in prison. And they came back with a number of poems about moments where others had shown kindness, care and sympathy. So I'm just going to read a couple out. Some treat us like animals, but you treat us like men. When the door opens and you're behind it, we know our day is a safe one. We know that you will listen and do the best you can. And so now, man to man, thank you. And then the second one, talking about a moment where they'd had a cup of tea with a member of staff in the prison. The tea was bitter, the moment sweet, reminded me my heart still beat. In that brief sip, I was not confined, but seen, remembered, dignified. Behind the walls where names are lost and every kindness counts the cost, I felt most human, most alive when someone let my soul survive. So I think those poems show how vital those moments, those human moments are in prison. But I guess our challenge today, our provocation for this workshop is it enough to have a more humane justice system, a system with less suffering? What about having a more human justice system? So we want to start a global dialogue about more kind of complex and more ambitious aim to not only have a more humane justice system with less suffering, but a more human justice system. And so the definition of human, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is being related to or belonging to a person or to people, and having the qualities, faults and feelings that people have. So I guess there's two parts of that. Firstly, that we're all social creatures. And secondly, that we all have emotions, we have strengths, we have weaknesses that make us human. And we say things like, I'm only human, or that makes them seem more human. And so we thought this would be a good topic for such a diverse global group, because wherever we are in the world, and we'll all have different criminal justice, criminal legal systems, structures and contexts that we're working from, but something that we all have in common is being human, and that common ground that Jacob was talking about. And we know what it is to be human. We understand the complexity of what it is to be human. So today we hope to explore the moments, environments and relationships that promote humanness in our lives and in our justice systems. Some of you may have been on a call that we had, a workshop that we had last year called Being Human, where we started to explore this idea of being human and what it is to be human. And so I just thought I'd share some of the key themes that came out of that discussion to help set up today's discussion. There was topics around being seen in your full complexity, so not reduced to your worst moment, your file or your failures, having potential and this idea of always unfolding, being capable of growth, belonging and contributing, allowing us to be ourselves, being valued as an individual, discovering our self-worth. And that being human requires listening to others and understanding their feelings. It comes through relationships. There was a great quote, I think it might have been from Jacob actually, systems don't change people, relationships do. It's this idea of relational work, that needs compassion-focused systems, that we need both physical and relational spaces, safe spaces to do courageous healing work. And there was also a great thing about this idea of you can feel it, you can feel that human connection, this energy, these human vibrations, which I know Alison is going to touch on shortly in her presentation. So we want today to be about thinking about a more human justice system. And it may seem like that's something that's quite improbable or something that's really far in the distant future, that's a dream that we might have a more human justice system that sees people in their full complexities. But what we want to do today is to shine a light on human work that's already happening across the UK, across Brazil, Europe, and the UK in particular, where we can spotlight these, what we call pockets of the future that are happening now, and hopefully build a bridge towards more human and transformed justice systems that can grow and blossom and thrive across the world through this vibrant global community that we're developing. So just to take you very quickly through what we've got planned for today. So we're going to kick off with Professor Alison Liebling talking about her new book, The Search for Humanity, and then we're going to have a small group activity. Then we're going to have Jacob and Emily Thomas, who's a prison governor, talk about the human role of the arts. Then we've got a break, and we've got Selena from the Prison Phoenix Trust, who are going to do some yoga in case we need a bit of stretching after that time. Then we've got a wonderful panel with amazing speakers from across those 4 regions. And then we're going to, and you'll have a chance to ask them questions. And then we're going to do an activity, an imagination activity, thinking about pockets of the future that you're aware of in your work and sharing those and thinking about co-designing in a way what a future human criminal justice system will be.